Hello everyone, I'm back with another opinion video. I've been doing a lot of these, but things happen in the K-pop world that just need to be talked about. So without further ado, let's begin. SM is actually one of the worst breeds of companies, a company that can do something but won't. What I mean by that is they have some of the best groups with the best discographies, but choose to do nothing with them. For example, the way they have been promoting Red Velvet, or should I say not promoting them at all. They had a comeback, and I didn't even know about it until the day before it came out, and I didn't even hear from SM themselves. I heard it from a Discord server. And even groups that are older than Red Velvet like EXO Girls' Generation and SHINee still haven't had any kind of promotion or comeback, though it could be army duties for groups like EXO or SHINee. SNSD is one of their biggest group that they barely ever use, and it's probably only going to get worse since they're putting out a new group, even though they can barely manage the ones they have now. Also, when it comes to individual member treatments, they don't treat the members of the groups right. Examples are Giselle, Yuri, and recently Joy. Why was Joy regular screen time basically cut in half? In the new song, most of her lines you'll see another member instead of her. Giselle is just now getting more attention for what she's been doing all of this time, which is her siren backing vocals and actually being an asset to aespa. And people have finally stopped calling Yuri useless and a filler member, even though she was always going to be in the group. You would think that something like this would be common knowledge, but apparently some people don't know that just because you have braids in, doesn't mean that it's culture appropriation. Many different cultures have their own things that they do, wear, and celebrate, and if people would take into consideration of where some people are, they know what people were wearing. For example, Yuki was in Thailand and those were Thai braids. I'm not saying that people don't do culture appropriation, but it isn't always the case. Comparing those two box braids are just as disrespectful as her having worn them. They might have been ugly, but it wasn't wrong. While I will agree that K-pop has a long history of culture appropriation and that it probably will never stop, most entertainment businesses are like that. It's not just K-pop using other cultures to their advantage. We look over at the West, Jessie Nelson, Nicki Minaj, Miley Cyrus. I don't know how many times people are going to bring this up, especially about IVE members, but it's none of your business how they like to eat their food. If they only want to eat the fill of the burger and the actual bread, then let them do that. If they want to eat it with a fork, then let them do that. It's none of your business. It's not hurting you or them, so let them do what they want to do. Maybe they were trying to keep themselves clean, or they just don't want to eat the bread. A small opinion, but I still think it's important because IVE usually gets criticized for stuff like this. What I mean by this is we need to take Hyuna as a learning experience. We shouldn't try to impose our beliefs on an idol and expect them to follow through all the time. Though I do think in Hyuna's case, it's different because she's involving herself with shady people, even after being friends with someone involved with those people who died. I see why people are really mad at her, but we just need to disassociate ourselves from her and keep her far from our devices. She is choosing to marry someone who isn't a good person even after being friends with someone who was also a victim in the situation and lost their life. She left on because she wasn't ready for marriage, and that's not a problem at all. I don't have a problem with who she left. I think we all have a problem with who she's trying to connect to, after not taking that same path with someone who lost their job for her. Hyuna has taken advantage of the fact that people associate her with feminism and being different, to grow her career, and now that she's found something to give it up for, she's ready to leave that image in a heartbeat. I guess I see what people mean by love makes you blind. I don't think SM knows what they want to do with Red Velvet. Moving on. Red Velvet has one of the best discographies and most talented members, but for some reason they're not as big as they could be. And while they are very chaotic, they could have been the perfect follow-up to the nation's girl group SNSD and perfect older group for aespa, but Red Velvet is always treated like a middle child in SM. When you take all of their music into consideration, there isn't really much room to grow. Red Velvet started with Happiness, and it really felt like they matured with Bad Boy and Peekaboo and somehow topped it with Psycho. But after that I think SM is scared to try and top, or at least experiment, like how they did with Red songs like Zimzalabim and Red Flavor, and Velvet songs like Bad Boy and Psycho. It feels like SM isn't confident in their ability to make a really good Velvet comeback, because after Psycho, it was straight Red comebacks from Queendom to Feel My Rhythm and Birthday until Chill Kill. Chill Kill tries to be the mix of Red and Velvet with stronger Velvet influences, but the intention was lost. They tried to do it with Cosmic as well, but these songs aren't progressed to me, more like an abrupt end. Red Velvet as a brand is genius, but I feel like SM has done all they think they can with Red Velvet and are now ready to kick them to the curb for aespa and their new group. And now I'm not trying to blame other groups, but it's just interesting to me. I also want to put some blame on fans because most people are always expecting another Psycho/Bad Boy or another Red Flavor, and the group can't grow if you just always impose your expectations and opinions that don't help them at all. People are basically saying, make this but 10 times better and we'll like your new stuff. And that's just not possible because Red Velvet is a group that doesn't repeat conceptually or musically after a new era. Groups have a massive advantage when it comes to popularity and growing in the industry because there are more members. There's a variety of different personalities, visuals, and sounds. There's always a chance that if you don't like one person you might like the other. One person might intrigue you a lot and make you stan the group, but for soloist, there's only one person, and if you don't like that person then there's not much else for you. While sometimes a soloist is seen as a people person and just loved all around, they are usually from or have been in a group or a big company. Why do some people have such a problem with a grown woman showing a little skin or dancing? Sometimes I wonder if people actually are being for real when they type or speak online. I don't know why K-pop fans want to act like their faves are just so innocent and know nothing about anyone or thing. These are grown men and women who have been living for more than 2 decades, and you're telling me that you think they are youthful innocent virgins who don't know how to live by themselves. I don't know if it's some kind of race thing, like a fetishization, or if people just get too connected to these people on the internet. And I normally see this criticism happening to female idols. It obviously still happens to male idols, but usually in a way where they're being sexualized and being applauded, and this is bad because you're basically showing men it's okay to do all this stuff because they'll be celebrated. I don't think dressing and dancing the way you want should be a big deal. It shouldn't be applauded nor condemned. Like you're telling me that this makes you convulse in your bed. Like, get a grip. And a lot of these K-nets say they like Western music and then have such a problem with K-pop idols doing what others do. No, Jenny vaping is not wrong. She's a grown woman, so she's allowed to do it. I have no problem with that. Now the only problem is her vaping in front of others. What I mean by that is her vaping in a work environment. As a smoker or vapor, I don't know what you would call it. You have to be mindful of the people around you and if they would be okay with it. Though she is an adult and adults can pretty much do whatever, she still has to consider the people around her, especially since this isn't really a casual place that she's doing it in. And especially since she's doing it in an enclosed environment, so there isn't much ventilation for it to leave the room. I do think she should have to apologize, not for doing it but for where she did it. Well, that's all of my opinions. I hope you found some that you agreed with, and if not, tell me what you didn't agree with in the comments. Also, please like and subscribe to my channel. Have a good day, night, or whenever you're watching this. Bye.